ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸೌರವ್? ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತದೆ.
Okay. In the last class, I started the pseudocode chapter, right? And I explained this one problem. So in this pseudocode chapter, I said we are going to study 3 types of problem. One is the triangle problem, second one is the next date function problem, and third one is the commission problem. And yesterday I explained the triangle problem. Can anybody tell me the triangle problem? What is triangle problem and how it is solved? So in the triangle problem, we are going to find the 3 types of triangles: equilateral, isosceles, scalene triangle, and the last option is not a triangle. So when we say that the given triangle is an equilateral triangle, yes, Sachin? Sachin? Connect agidira? Sachin? Yes, Sharanya? What is equilateral triangle, or when this triangle is said to be equilateral triangle? Sharanya? Sachin? Yes, Saurabh, ನೀವೇ ಹೇಳಿ. When the triangle is said to be equilateral triangle?
When all the sides are equal.
When all the sides are equal, then the triangle is said to be an equilateral triangle. Good. When the triangle is said to be isosceles?
When two sides are different and when two sides are same and one is different, it is isosceles.
Okay, fine. Next, scalene?
All the 3 sides are different.
Yes, when all 3 sides are unequal, then we say that the triangle is a scalene. And not a triangle means if all 3 are not satisfying, then we say that the triangle is not a triangle. That I explained, right? And here we are considering the simple version as well as the improved version. In the improved version, we are given the limits for the sides A, B, C, where the limits are ranging from 1 to 200. If this condition is not satisfied, then directly the program will give the error message. Along with these 3 conditions, we are also having 3 more conditions for A, B, and C. A should be less than B plus C, and B should be less than A plus B, and C should be less than A plus B. So if all these conditions are satisfied, then only we are going to find the type of a triangle, whether it is equilateral, isosceles, or scalene. And if not, then means if any one of the conditions fails, C4, C5, C6, among these 3, if any one of the condition fails, then the program is giving the output as not a triangle. That I explained with the help of the structural implementation as well as the traditional implementation technique, right? So in the structural implementation technique, we are using the data flow diagram, and after that the pseudocode is also there, that I explained in the last class. Similarly, for the next traditional approach, structured approach is over, right? Next, in the traditional approach or the traditional implementation, we are considering the data flow diagram or the flow chart we are considering, and with the help of the flow chart, we are going to write the pseudocode for the triangle problem, right? That I explained in the last class. And the next problem is called as the next date function problem. Okay, so this is the second problem that we are considering for performing the unit testing. So the second problem is the next date function problem. Okay, so in the next date problem, we are considering, so or by giving the date, we enter the date, then it will give the particular date. Okay, so here when compared with the triangle problem, so here we have some different kind of complexity, because in the triangle problem we are having the relationship between the input and output, but here we are having the different type of complexity, because here we have to consider the logical relationship among the input variables. Okay, so when you compare the complexity of the triangle problem and the next date function, the complexity is different. Why? Because in the triangle problem we are considering the relationship between the inputs and the correct output, whereas in the next date function we are considering the logical relationship among the input variables. So first we'll see the problem statement. So the next date is a function which consisting of three variables. What are those variables? Month, day, and year. Okay. So the next date function will have three variables: month, day, and year. And the output will be, it returns the date of the day after the input is given. Okay. Once we give the input date, so it returns the date of the day after giving the input. Okay, so here three conditions are specified for the month, day, and year. So normally, if you consider the year, how many months will be there in a year? How many months will be there in a year? ಶರಣ್ಯ ಸುಮ್ನೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ತಾನೇ ಇಲ್ಲೇ? ಹಾ ಅವಾಗ್ಲೇ ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿದೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರಯಾಂಗಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ.
Ma'am, network problem ಇದೆ ma'am.
Okay. So how many months are there in a year?
12.
How many? 12 months. Okay, that condition is specified as the first condition. See here, C1. For the C1, what is the condition? Condition should be the between 1 and 12. So means months will be between 1 and 12. And for the days, how many days we are considering here? How many days? Maximum? How many days?
31.
31. ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್? ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ? Yes, Sharanya? Consider. Okay, fine. So, one more condition is we are considering the number of days in a month, a maximum of 31. Okay, if we enter more than 31, then it will return the invalid input. Similarly, for the month, if we enter more than 12, then it returns the invalid message, or sorry, invalid input as the message. Okay. And here we are considering the year range from 1018-12 to 2012. Okay, only these 200 years data we are considering. Okay, so these conditions are defined for the next date function problem. One is the month ranges should be between 1 and 12, and for the dates it's between 1 and 31, and for years to 200 years we are considered. Okay. So as I said, the problem will give the invalid output when we enter the months greater than 12, or the day as greater than 31 or less than 1, and the year less than 1812 and greater than 2012. Okay, so responses for invalid values of inputs, values are for the day, month, and year. Okay, as I said, if for the responses for the invalid combinations of input, let us consider June 31 in a year. If you consider, is June consisting of 31 days? Yes. Is June consisting of 31 days? No, it consisting of only 30 days. So June month will have only 30 days. And if we enter the 31 for the June month, then it will display the error message. Understood? Similarly, if we enter the month as 13, then it will display the invalid output. And next, if you consider another invalid combination of input, for February, we will have the 28 days or 29 days in case of leap year. If we enter it as 30, February 30, then also it returns as the input invalid combination of inputs. Okay, so these conditions also we are checking in the program. Okay, and one more is that in any one of the, if any one of the conditions C1, C2 or C3 fails here, if if we give the date June 30th, okay, but if we give other than 2012, then it will display the error message. Or if we enter the month as 13 or 14, if it is greater than 12, then also it is displaying the error message. Or if we enter as February 30th, then also it will display the error message, because any one of the condition fails. If any one of the condition fails, then it will display the error messages as corresponding values as out of range values. And if we one more example, they are given exam value of month is not in the range 1 to 12. If I enter the month as 20, then it will display the error message as value of month not in the range 1 to 12. Understood? And the next one is, if invalid day month year combination exists, then the next date collapses, and it will display the error message as invalid input date. So if all three are conditions, if all three conditions fails, what are those conditions? C1, C2 and C3. If all these three conditions fails, then the program will give the give the error message as invalid input to date. If one of the condition fails, for C1, what is the condition for C1? What is the condition C1? C1 is this, right? So what is the condition defined for C1? Month should be between 1 and 12. If I enter 13, then the C1 condition fails. Then it will display the error message. For the C2, what is the condition? For condition is 1 is less than or equal to date 31. If I enter it as 32 or 40, then also the C2 condition fails. Or if I enter it as February 30, then also the condition fails. Okay, for C3, it is, if I enter 2020, then the condition fails, then it returns the error message. If all three fails, if I enter the condition as February 30, 2020, then what happens? Two condition fails, right? The C2 condition fails and C3 condition also fails, then it will give the error message as invalid input date. Understood? So we need to specify these conditions C1, C2, C3 in the program or in the pseudocode. So here, when we are talking about the complexity for the next date function, here there exist two complexity or two sources of complexity. One is the complexity of input domain, and the other one is that we have not discussed it, that is the leap year. Okay, so as I said, for the February we will have dates, right? Either 28 or 29. If the year is not a leap year, then the February will consisting of 28 days, and if the year is a leap year, then the February month will consisting of 29 days. So that condition also we have to check. Hence, there are two complexity arises here. One is the complexity of the input domain, and other one is we need to define the rule for finding the leap year. How we have to find the leap year? Okay, because as we know that a year is how many days long? Normally we'll say that it is 365 days, but actually the year is of 365.2422 days long, and hence every 4 years we are getting the leap year, because that becomes 366 days. Okay, so leap years are used for the extra day problem that we have to consider. And according to the Gregorian calendar, a leap year, if the year is divisible by 4, then we say that it is a leap year. But here, once again, the problem arises. If we consider 1992, 1996, 2000 are the leap years. But if we consider 1900 or 1900, it is not the leap year. So that we have to consider. Okay. So here, century years are leap years only if they are multiples of 400. Okay, only if they are multiples of 400, then we say that century years are leap years, and hence 1900 is not the leap year because it is not multiple by 400. But how will you consider the leap years? Leap years, how we are considering, if the year is divisible by 4, then we say that it is a leap year. And next we have to consider the century leap years. So century years are treated as the leap years only if they are the multiples of 400. Understood? Okay. We'll see the pseudocode for this. Understood all of you the conditions? Any doubt in this? Okay, how we are considering the next date function problem? Here three conditions are defined, C1, C2 and C3 for days, months and years. Next, how we are treating the input values or the invalid input values. If the input is greater than 12 for the month, greater than 13 for the day and greater than 2012 or less than 1812, then we say that it is a invalid input to date. Okay, if any one of the condition fails, then the program will give the error message as invalid month or invalid day. Okay, so these conditions are defined here, and here, as I said, we have the two for complexity. One is the complexity of the input domain, and the second one is complexity to determine the leap year. So leap year, if year divisible by 4, then we say that it is a leap year. And the century leap years we are considering, if the century years are multiples of 400, then we say that it is a century leap year. That's why we are considering here 1900, even though if it is divisible by 4, but that is not the leap year. Why? Because that is not the multiples of 400. But the remaining years, 1992, 1996, 2000, etc., are the leap years. If it is a leap year, then the February month will consisting of 29 days, or else it will consisting of only 28 days. So next we'll see the simple pseudocode for the next date implementation. So here it is, we are considering a simple version of the next date problem. Here we are declaring the different variables, tomorrow day, tomorrow month, tomorrow year, because if we are at June 30th, and then if one day is incremented, then it is the month is also incremented by 1. That's why it is tomorrow month we are considering. And if you consider the for the example for tomorrow year, if I give the date as December 31st, if we increment the value by 1, then what happens? Month changes as well as the year also changes. So if I give the date as 31st December 2019, then once it is incremented, then it becomes January 1st. Month is changed, date is also changed, and the year is also changed. Then January 1st, 2020. That's why we are defining three variables, tomorrow day, tomorrow month, and tomorrow year, as the integer values. Along with that, we are considering the present day, present month, and the year. Okay, day, month, year. So how many variables are declared here? 6. 3 for day, month, and year. Present day, month, year, and next for tomorrow's day, month, and year. Next, we have to enter the date in the form of MMDDYY order. Means we have to enter the date in the order of month, date, day, and the year. Okay, so we are giving the input as month, day, and year. And next, so here, as I said, some of the months consisting of 30 days, some of the months consisting of 31 days, and one February month consisting of either 28 or 29 days, depending on the leap year. So here we are defining the number of cases. In the first case, we are considering the months which consisting of 31 days. How many months consisting of 31 days, and which are those? First month, that is January, March, then May, July, August, then October, consisting of 31 days. Along with that, December is also considered, also consisting of 31 days. But here we have not included why that month here. The December is not included. Why? Because in the December month, if we increase the day by 1, so if you consider now we are at 31st December, if I consider the next day, then it becomes the January 20 January, and the year is also incremented. So for that, a separate condition is defined. So here, for the first case, we are considering the months which are between the January and the October. Okay, so hence we have considered the months January, March, May, July, August, and the October. And for December, we have defined separate case. Okay, next. So if the day is less than 31, then tomorrow day is day plus 1, because say here, now what is the date? Today is, what is the date? 7th, right? 7th November, right? 7th November. So since it belongs to the 30 day, then we'll go for that. Otherwise, let us consider that October 20th. October consisting of how many days? 31 days. So if I give the day as 20, we'll check this condition. This condition, day 20 is less than 31. Yes, it satisfies because 20 is less than 31. Hence, it is incremented by 1. Day is equal to day plus 1. So it incremented by 1. The next day becomes October 21st. Or if the condition satisfies, let us consider that October 31st. Day is equal to 31st. Is 31st is less than 31st? No, it is equal to 31st, right? So then this condition fails, and tomorrow day is equal to 1, means we are incrementing the day to the next month. Okay, because the after 31st we are getting the first of next month. So tomorrow day is equal to 1 and the month is incremented by 1. Now we are at, suppose let us consider that we are at October 31st. What will be the next day? The next day becomes November 1st. So hence the month is incremented by 1 and the tomorrow day value is assigned to 1. Why? Because after 31st we are getting the first of next month. Next we'll go for the months which consisting of 30 days. So which are the month which consisting of 30 days? April, June, September and November. These are all the months which consisting of 30 days. So once again same thing repeats. If the day is less than 30, then that day is incremented by 1, or else, so suppose now if we consider November 30th, so if this condition fails, then if the next day becomes the December 1st. So month is incremented by 1 and tomorrow day is assigned the value 1. Okay, so that is about the months which consisting of 31 days and 30 days. So we are considering one more special case for December. Why? Because December is the last month in an year. So there we have to consider the change of the day, change of the month, as well as change of the year. Okay. Now let us consider if day is December 31st. We are considering directly, we'll go to 31st. So 31st is less than 31st? No, this condition fails. And hence, we'll go for tomorrow day, which is equal to 1, means 1 is assigned. Why? Because after December 31st, it is changing to what? The 1st of January. Tomorrow month is also assigned to 1. Why? Because after December 31st, we are getting January 1st of the next year. Okay, so then if year is equal to 2012, then the output is equal to tomorrow is means 2012 is over. Next we are considering the 2013, and if we are at December 31st of 2012, what will be the next day? The next day will be January 1st of 2013, hence the year is incremented by 1. Okay, so these are the 3 cases for the months which consisting of 30 days, 31 days, and for the December month we are consider. And one more case we have to consider, because here the February month is not included. Why February month is not included here? Because the February month consisting of only 28 days, and if it consisting of 21 days for the leap year, and hence that one is treated as a separate case. Okay, month is 2, that is February. For the February, how many days we are considering? 28 days. Okay, and the next one we are checking whether it is a leap year or not. For the leap year, we are considering it is 9 days. So if the days is less than 28, then the day is incremented by 1. If day is equal to day 28, and here once again we are checking whether it is a leap year or not. So if it is a leap year, then the tomorrow day is 29, means the 28 incremented by 1. If this is not a leap year, then the tomorrow day is equal to 1. Means the tomorrow day is equal to means 1 means we are moving on to the March 1st, and hence the tomorrow month is incremented by 1. That is, initially it is February 2 and later it becomes 3. That is, it becomes March and the date is March 1st. Okay. Else, so if the day is less than 28 or equal to 28, and if it is the leap year, we are considering 29. Other than these inputs, we are considering that we can't have the February for that particular day. Suppose if I enter it as 30, so is 30 is there for the February? For the February, we can't have the 30th date that is displayed. Okay, so hence after calculating this, it is displaying the output as tomorrow's date is tomorrow's month, tomorrow day, and tomorrow year. Suppose if I enter the input as December 31, 2012, and what will be the tomorrow's date, tomorrow's month, and tomorrow's year? Tomorrow's month and year becomes January 1st, 2013. Understood? Or if I enter the value as I'll enter today's. Okay, it is November 7th, 2020. Then what will be the tomorrow's day, month, and year? Tomorrow day becomes 8th November 2020. Understood? So like this, if I enter the one date, it will display the tomorrow's date. So this is about the basic question for the next date problem. And next one, here the improved version is given. So in the improved version, we are defining the C1, C2 and C3 as the Boolean values. Remaining two are the same. That is tomorrow day, tomorrow month, tomorrow year, as well as present day, month, year. All these integers we declared and that we used in the basic question, right? Here also we used, right? Tomorrow day, tomorrow month, tomorrow year, day, month, year is also used. Along these two, we are using one more declaration, that is C1, C2 and C3, that is declared as the Boolean values. So first we are entering the date. So here we are entering the date in the form of MMDDY. So suppose if I enter it as 06 30th 2020, then what it indicates? 30th June 2020. What will be the next day? We should get it as June 30th is over, right? Next we should get it as July 1st 2020, right? In this form we are getting the output. So here three conditions we have to check. There in the program itself we are considering different cases, right? But here what we are going to do, sorry, in the previous program we are not checking whether the range, these are within the range or not, that we are not considered, right? For C1, C2, C3 are not considered. We are simply written the program for the by considering the today's date, day and year, and we are displaying the tomorrow's date and year. But here we are considering the three conditions. What are three conditions? For C1, number of months should be between 1 and 12. Similarly, day between 1 and 31 and year between 1018-12 to 2012. Okay, range is given for C1, C2, C3, and whenever the date is entered, suppose if I enter this date as today's date, month is 11, day is 07, and the year is 2020, then what it will display? It will display as the error message. Why? Because the year range is given, that is between 1018-12 to 2012. So this condition fails. If this condition fails, then it will display the error message as input value is not in the range. Understood? So here if we are checking the condition for C1, so suppose if I enter the day as 32, then what it will do? If not C1, means if this condition is fails not, then value of day is not in the range, because we have to give the range 1 to 31. If I enter it as 32, then it will display the error message. Similarly for the month, if I enter the month as 13, then this condition phase. If not, because that is not satisfied, so what it will display, it will display the error message as value of the month is not in the range. Next, if I enter the year as 2020, then what happens? The value of the year is not in the range, because the range is given from 1812 to 2012. If I enter it as 2020, then it will display the error message. If all three conditions are satisfied, suppose if I enter the date as June 16th, 2012, then all three conditions satisfies, right? June 12th, 12th is within 31, June, that is within 12, because that June is equal to 6, month value is equal to 6, that is between the within the given range. And if I given it as 2012, so 2012 is also within the range, then all three conditions are satisfied. Okay, all three are, means the given date, time and year are within the given range, then once the same thing repeats here. That is, for the month we are considering 1357, the remaining pseudocode is same as the previous one. Here we are considering for the months which are having 31 days, and next month which are having the 30 days, and the 12th month December is treated separately. And next one is for, we are considering for the February. For the February, 28 days and 29 days 29 days are considered, because if the in the February, the if it is a leap year, then it consisting of 29 days, else 28 days. That also we check. So here, if day is equal to 29, then we are displaying it as a leap year. That also we are considered. And or else the invalid input data, as I said. So if I enter other than the MMDDYY format, then it will display the invalid input date. And once all these conditions are satisfied, then it will display the tomorrow's date, tomorrow month, tomorrow day, and tomorrow's year. Right. So what is the main difference between the previous version and this version? In the previous version, we are not checking the conditions, right? Directly, see here, we are not checking the conditions. Directly, we are considering the number of days in a month, whether 30 days or 31 days, and December is treated separately, and also the February. Why? Because February, in the February, there is a chance that 2 days are present, 28 or 29, depending on the leap year. Right, but in the improved version, we are defining three conditions: C1, C2, C3. C1 value is between 1 and 31, C2 is between 1 and 12, and C3 is between 1812 to 2012. So these three extra conditions are defined, and three conditions are validated here. Once it satisfies, then we are going to consider the remaining pseudocode. Okay. So this is about the next date problem. Next, we'll move on to the commission problem. Shall I continue for 10 minutes? 10-15 minutes, I'll complete this. Shall I continue? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, the commission problem I'll complete today. Clear. So this is another problem that we are considering for the unit testing. Previous two are the triangle problem, next date function problem, and the third one is the commission problem. So in the commission problem, this problem is related to the sales, and also the number of sales the salesperson is doing that, and also the total sales, and what is the commission amount the salesperson is getting after selling so many rifles. Understood. So this is called as the commission problem. Why? Because it is it is very difficult to commercial computing. Commercial computing means so we are considering the number of sales, and of how many rifles are sold, and what is the cost of each rifle, or the stocks, barrel, etc. that we are considering. Based on the sales, the commission is computed, and that will be given to the salespersons, and hence this problem is called as the commission problem. And this problem consisting of mix of computation and decision making. So computation means we have to calculate the total cost for the sold rifles or the stocks or the barrels. Once it is done, then we have to determine how much of the commission we have to distribute to the salesperson depending on the sales. So there we are making the decisions. Hence, it is the combination of the computation as well as the decision making. Now let us consider the problem. A rifle salesperson in the former Arizona territory. So they have given this other countries example that we are considering here. A rifle salesperson in the former Arizona territory sold rifle locks, stocks, and barrels made up of a gunsmith in Missouri. Okay, so here what is the main problem? The main commission problem. The commission problem, we are considering the selling of the rifles, where the rifle consisting of the rifle locks, stocks, or the barrels. If all three are sold, rifle locks, stocks, and barrel is sold, then we say that the entire rifle is sold and the sale is completed. Okay, and here the cost is also given for the stocks, barrels, and the locks. Okay, the locks cost is $45, stocks cost is $30, and barrel cost is $25. So locks cost is means each lock cost around $45, each stock cost around $30, and barrel cost is each barrel cost is $25. Okay, so the condition is salesperson has to sell at least one complete rifle per month. Means in a month the salesperson must sell one complete rifle. One complete rifle means he has to sell so many stocks, locks, and also the barrels. Then we say that the sales is completed. Okay, but even though that is given, along with that, production limitation is also given. What is the production limitation? The production limitation says that one salesman can sell a maximum of 70 locks, 80 stocks, and 90 barrels per month. That is the limitation for the salesperson. Even though he is capable of selling more than 70 locks, he can't. Why? Because how many locks are available for month? Only 70 locks are available. So in a month, a salesperson can sell 70 locks, 80 stocks, or 90 barrels. So after each town visit, salesperson update the sale of number of locks, stocks, barrels through a telegram. So who is the main person here? Gunsmith in Missouri is the main person, and salesperson is reporting to him. After visiting each city, okay, after visiting each city or town, the salesperson update the sale of the number of stocks, locks, or barrels to the gunsmith. How he is giving the information? Through the telegram. So through a telegram he is giving the information to gunsmith about the number of locks, stocks, or barrels sold in that city. Okay, at the end of month, salesperson sent a short telegram showing -1 lock, showing 1 locks sold. Is how many locks sold or how many barrels sold, like that is just sending the message. Okay, and in a month, once the month is completed, then the number of stocks or locks or barrels sold, that data is collected, and after that they are calculating the commission for salesperson. So what is the commission rate? 10% on sales up to $1,000. Means if the salesperson sold the items above up to $1,000, then he's going to get a commission of 10%. And after $1,000, if we sold $1,200 material or the stocks, locks, barrels, then how much commission is going to get? Is going to get 15% of the commission. And if we sold more than $1,018, then is going to get the 20% of the commission. So that is the maximum commission he is getting if the salesperson is selling, or is if the salesperson sold more than $1,018 locks, stocks, or the barrels. So here the commission problem produces a monthly sales report that gives the total number of stocks are sold by the salesperson, and what is the total cost of all those, and also the commission. Understood? This is the commission problem. So in the commission problem, what are the things we are considering? We are considering the number of stocks, number of logs, or number of barrels sold in a month. Okay, and what is the total number together of logs, stocks, and barrels, and what is the total cost, and based on the total cost, how much commission the salesperson is going to get. All these things we are considering in the commission problem. Understood? Here the problem we are dividing it into three separate pieces. Okay, one is the input data portion, second one is the sales calculation, and third one is the commission calculation. Okay, so here the commission problem is divided into three pieces. One is the input data portion, second one is the sales calculation, and third one is the commission calculation. So in the input data portion, we are considering only for the data validation, not for else. Okay, only for the data validation we are considering the input data portion. After that, we are calculating the sales as well as the commission. Okay, now let us consider the pseudocode. So here we are defining number of variables for stocks, logs, and variables. Okay, so here logs, stocks, barrels are considered as three variables, and they are declared as integers. And the barrel, the price of each log, stock, or barrel is declared as the real one, and the total stocks and barrels is declared as integer, and the total sales of logs, stocks, or barrels is treated as the real one. Next, after that, we have to calculate the commission that we are declaring it as the real. Okay, so here the log price, stock price, and barrel price is also given. See here, what is the log price? $45, stock price is 30, and barrel price is 25. That also we have declared. So what is the log price? 45, stock price is 30, and barrel price is 25. Initially, we assume that no sale is done, or no log, stocks, or barrels are sold. Hence, initially all these values are 0. So we are declaring these initial values as 0. Next, we'll move on to the last one. Okay. Is it clear? The declaration, here we are declaring the log, stocks, barrels as the integer. Total of logs, stocks, and barrels is also integer, but the price of that is declared as the real value, and the total sales is also declared as the real value. Along with that, we have to compute the commission that is declared as the real one. And after that, log price is already given, that is 45, stock price is 30, and barrel price is 25, that is assigned. Okay, and here for initially the sales is 0. That's why we all three, that is total stocks, and total barrels values is equal to 0. And next, so here what happens at the end of the month, the salesperson sent a short telegram showing that -1 log sold. What it indicates, that is the end of the sale, or indicate the end of the data. Okay, so here, while not, if just a minute, while not logs is equal to 1, it indicates it is the end of the data. Otherwise, so if it is not -1, then input is given. So means the salesperson input the data for stocks and barrels, such that how many stocks is sold or how many barrels is sold. That input is given, and after that, total stocks, logs, and barrels are calculated. Okay, logs, here it is there, right? If log is equal to -1, if that is true, then it indicates the end of the data. If not, the input log is also given, right? So along with that, stocks, barrels, our value is entered, and then based on the log, stocks, and barrels, we are calculating the total logs, barrels, and the stocks. Clear? Okay. After calculating that, it is displaying the message as total logs sold total stocks told and total barrels told. That value is given. Now let us consider that here I'm entering the stocks, lock stocks barrels as 2, 3 and 2. Means the salesperson sold 2 locks, 3 stocks and 2 barrels. Okay, then what will be the values becomes? Total lock sold is 2, total stock sold is 3 and total barrels sold is equal to 2. Okay, so we are getting the total sales of stocks, locks and the barrels, right? And after that we are calculating the total price. What is the each lock price? Each lock price is $45 into how many locks are sold? 2 locks. Then what it becomes? 45 into 2, it becomes $90. Similarly, stock is equal to stock. What is the total stock sales is equal to stock price into total stocks. What is the stock price? It is 30. And how many stocks are sold? 3 are sold. Then what is the value? It is 30 into 3, $90. And what is the barrel price? Barrel price is equal to 25. And what are the total barrels sold? It is equal to 2. So it is 25 into 2, it is equal to 50. Then how much total sales we are getting? Lock sales is $90, stock sales is $90 plus $50. How much it is equal to? $230. So what is the total sales? It is equal to $230. So here if sales is greater than $1,800, but what is the total sales here? Only how much? 90 plus 90 plus 50, 180 plus 50, $230. Sales is equal to $230. If 230 is greater than 1,800, no, right? Because sales is just to 230 and it is less than 1,800. Then what happens? The commission, or how much commission he is going to get? So up to $1,000 is going to get the commission of only 10%, right? So if it is greater than 1,800, yes, then only we are calculating the commission as 10% into for $1,000, 15% for $800 and 20% for the remaining above $1,800. But here what happens? The sales is just to $230. Then what happens? This condition fails, right? Then here we are going to check this. What is the condition? If sales is greater than 1,000, no, it is not greater than 1,000. How much it is? 230. So 230 is not greater than this, and hence how much we are considering? Only the commission is 10% of the sales. 10% into $230, that much is getting as the commission. Now let us consider he sold $2,000 stocks. Total sales is equal to $2,000. Means for such amount he sold lock, stocks and barrels. What is the total sales? Let us consider it is equal to $2,000. Then the sales is $2,000 is greater than 1,800. Yes, this condition satisfies. Then the commission is calculated. For first $1,000, 10% commission is given. For the next $800, 15% of the commission is given. And for the above 1,800, sales minus 1,800. So above 1,800, for how many remaining dollars? For remaining $200, 20% of the commission is given. So what will be the total one? So 10% of 1,000 is, means 10% of $1,000. How much is getting? And plus 15% of $800. So $10 for 1,000. It is 1,000 into 10. $100 is getting as the commission for the first case, and for the second case $120 is getting, and for the remaining is getting the 240. So how much it is? 100, 120 plus 240. So totally is getting 240, 360, 460. Is getting the $460 as the commission. So like that, depending on the salesperson is going to get the commission. Understood? So finally, This is output is equal to commission in dollars. So he is getting the commission in dollars based on the sales. Understood? So here, what are the two things we have considered? Based on the input given, we are calculating the total sales. Here, total sales is calculated based on the input given. Based on what? Number of stocks, barrels or logs sold. Based on that, we are calculating the total sales, and based on the total sales, commission is distributed, hence it is called as commission problem. Understood? Based on the amount of, or based on the total amount of sales, the salesperson is going to get the commission. So here, if sales is greater than 1,800, then he comes under three commission slabs: 10%, 15%, and 20%. 10% up to $1,000, 15% after 1,000 to $1,800, and above $1,800 is going to get a 20% of the commission. So based on the sales by the salesperson, he is going to get the commission, hence it is called as the commission problem. Understood? So here we are considering the three pieces. First one is giving the input. What is the giving the input means? Entering the number of logs, stocks and barrels sold. Based on that, we are calculating the total sales. Okay, total logs, stocks, barrels sold, that we are considering, and similarly we are calculating the total sales. So based on the value of the total sales, commission is calculated. If the sales is greater than $1,800, he is getting a maximum commission, or else he is getting the 10% of the commission up to $1,000, 15% of the commission up to from 1,000 to $1,800, and after that he is getting a commission more than the commission of 20% for the sales more than 1,800. So this is about the commission problem. So in the next class we are going to study about the simple automatic teller machine as an example. Okay, any doubt in this? Any doubt? Sharanya, Sachin, Suraj and Raghavendra? So
No,
today
ma'am.
you are studying two problems.
No, ma'am.
Next date function problem, and the other one is the commission problem. Any doubt? Any doubt? No doubt. Raghavendra? Raghavendra, any doubt? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಎರಡೂನು?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
ಎರಡು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in the next class